Adam Loomis, 226941 SM. All right, good morning, all. Mr. Loomis, is it in here? Yes, it is. Mr. Loomis appears here this morning along with his attorney, Greg Seibel. Prosecution appears through Assistant Prosecutor Alex Semensky. Present also in court, Victim Witness Advocate Connie Larson, along with Mrs. Danielson. In regard to the matter, then, I've had a chance to review the pre-sentence report. Have you had a chance to go over that with your client, Mr. Seibel?
I have.
Is there anything of a factual nature that appears inaccurate?
No.
Is there anything you wanted to say in general on behalf of Mr. Loomis before the court imposes sentence?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This court is well familiar with the circumstances surrounding the charges and no contest plea with Mr. Loomis. The circumstances precipitating the events on April 1 and the events themselves are well known to the court from the other individuals who have been before the court. Mr. Loomis' ill-advised and misplaced sense of helping his friend avenge his deceased mother's honor are why Mr. Loomis is before the court today. He understands and acknowledges that his conduct was and is unacceptable, and he regrets his actions. In addition to facing consequences before the court today, he also was fired from a good-paying job, an apprenticeship, full-time. He did manage to find subsequent employment while on bond, but may not have that any longer since he's been sitting in the jail for the last 30 days, consistent with the sentencing recommendation in this matter. They say a person's brain is not fully mature until age 25. Mr. Loomis at age 20 and his cohorts certainly did not behave maturely on April 1. I think this experience has provided Mr. Loomis a crash course in what it means to act like an adult. I'd ask the court to go along with the recommendation in the pre-sentence report. A year of probation without early release and with conditions stated will provide the necessary oversight of Mr. Loomis. Conditions including a prohibition on social media and no contact with Mr. McWilliams directly address the circumstances that led to his conviction. He's completed 30 days of jail and will have 60 days hanging over his head, so to speak, while on probation. He will attend and complete anger management classes, and upon completion of probation, he will be able to keep his clean record. For a young man of 20 with a lifetime of opportunity ahead of him, this is huge. Still, the recommendation holds Mr. Loomis accountable, adequately punishes him, protects the public, and sends a message that this type of conduct will not be tolerated in this community. One area of concern that I have, and this is me speaking, is not Mr. Loomis, is that while he was out on bond, it seemed to be Ms. Danielson's agenda to see that he trips up in some way on bond. And I just want to assure the court that Mr. Loomis intends to abide by every letter of the probation requirements while he is on probation and successfully complete probation. I have instructed Mr. Loomis not to speak today because of looming civil proceedings we expect, but I would ask the court not to take that as an indication of any lack of remorse or conviction to not let something like this happen again. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Semensky, anything you'd like to say, or would you like to have Ms. Danielson say, or?
Just briefly, Your Honor, and then I'll give some time to Ms. Danielson. I would echo Mr. Seibel's words. This has been before the court repeatedly. Multiple COPS hearings and multiple sentencings have now occurred. The court is aware of what injuries occurred to Mr. McWilliams and what happened to him and his background. Ms. Danielson has been a relentless advocate for her son. In that regard, I don't think anything this court could do, unfortunately, could place him back in a position before he was assaulted by all of these defendants and placed in a position where now he has further setbacks. As the court is aware, he had some difficulties before he could even really make choices in this world. And now he had to endure these further injuries. And certainly Ms. Danielson can elaborate on those better than I ever could. I think that the punishments and the terms that are set out in the pre-sentence report are appropriate given what occurred here. I would ask the court to follow them and of course listen to Ms. Danielson at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Ms. Danielson. This is your opportunity. Please state your name for the record.
Sandra Danielson.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Danielson. What would you like to share today?
I hope, I really hope you have learned. I worry that you haven't. It seems that when I read through the police reports, your mother had said it went too far. They weren't supposed to kick. And then after the assault, when you went back to your pole barn, your dad came out to the pole barn and you told him the whole story of what happened. That really upsets me even more because nobody called to get help for my son. He had to walk about 3 miles to get help after you guys did that to him. And as far as not saying anything to the court, I don't really understand that. One of your other co-defendants did the same thing. An apology never hurts. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I do not have any objection to Mr. Loomis expressing an apology.
All right, Mr. Loomis, that's completely up to you. This is your opportunity, if you so wish, to address the court before the court imposes sentence.
I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize for the court for their time because of my actions. I am apologetic towards Mr. McWilliams.
All right, thank you, Mr. Loomis. This has just been a tragedy from top to bottom. Every which way you look at it, nothing gainful came from this. Other than maybe Mrs. Danielson and her son, Mr. McWilliams' relationship probably became tighter and stronger, and the bonding in the family. Your other son has been a tireless advocate. Maybe that's the silver lining here. I don't know. We have to find one for all tragedies in life if we're able to go on. But you have been a tireless advocate, and I appreciate and respect the energy and the amount of effort it takes to do that day in and day out. It's very tiring. It takes energy, negative energy, unfortunately. And it's a hard process. It's a long process. As hard as it's been for you, try to put yourself on the other side and multiply it times 7. And all the other medical appointments and other issues and emotional trauma that can't be visibly seen like medical trauma can. So this has just been a total drag that needs to always be avoided in the future and should never have happened. Hopefully this has been a learning experience, and Mr. Loomis, you take away from this just how devastating the long-term effects of some quick, poor decision-making results in. So, Mr. Loomis, you're a young man. You sat in the jail. How did you find that experience?
Unpleasant.
Yes, it's designed to be unpleasant. Designed to be a place you don't want to go back to, and that you make every effort in life to ensure that you never see again. So I hope it was that uncomfortable for you, Mr. Loomis, because it can be far, far, far worse than that. I started my life as a public defender in San Diego County in California, and let me tell you, I got into some prisons in life that would scare the living you-know-what out of you. You don't ever want to get to one of those places. So use this as a learning experience. As I said to one of your co-defendants, you now need to become an advocate and share with the world the experiences and make sure that you take the time to ensure that other people don't make these same kind of mistakes. People that are special in the world, and he came out from under some very difficult circumstances with some very real deficits in the world, and you guys took advantage of them. And that's not good. That's not cool. And now you got to make up for that for the rest of your life, in my opinion. You do with it what your conscience tells you need to. I'm going to place you on probation for 12 months. There's not going to be any early release from probation. There's a $400 oversight fee. The nature of the charges, the aggravated sense, and the opportunity to earn the delay of sentence status are all good reasons to place you on that period of probation. I will give you an opportunity under the delayed sentence status, general delayed sentence status, to earn the opportunity under that delay of sentence status to have each of these charges dismissed at the end of time. But that is up to you at this point in time and how serious you choose to take these conditions of your probation. Fines and costs on count 1 are $640. Fines and costs on count 2 are $440. Restitution is $2,973. Joint and severable with your co-defendants. Crime fund fee is $75. There are 2 justice system assessment fees, each in the amount of $50. Fines and costs are $1,655 plus restitution. What is the plan for payment, Mr. Seibel?
Your Honor, I believe that $150 a month for fines and costs would have them paid off by the end of probation.
All right, in regard to restitution then, probation department is working to divvy that up amongst them. I'm gonna order another $50 a month on top of that towards the restitution. Who is that? Total of $200 a month. When's the first payment gonna be made?
April 1st.
4/1 and each first of the month thereafter until paid in full. Uh, 90 days in jail, 30 days now, credit for 30 days. The balance of 60 days will be suspended for successful completion of probation. In addition to the general terms of your probation, the following are specific. You must absolutely abstain from the possession or consumption of alcoholic liquor in any form whatsoever. You may not use, possess, or consume any non-prescribed controlled substances or prescription medications that aren't prescribed to you. You must avoid all users, sellers, and possessors thereof. Do you have a medical marijuana license?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then marijuana use and possession in general are prohibited. You must attend and complete anger management. You're subject to random PBTs and drug screens. You may not engage in any harassing, intimidating, assaultive, or threatening behavior towards any person. No contact with Trenton McWilliams. Not to possess or use any social media, including but not limited to Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Not to be on the property of W5678 Swede Lane, Norway, Michigan. All right, do you understand the terms of your probation?
Yes.
Did you understand the advisal I gave on the appellate rights?
Yes.
Anything else that you'd like to address today then, Mr. Szymanski?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Loomis, you have no prior criminal history. I've given you an opportunity, a great opportunity here, as I've explained numerous times here in the past. I will give you that opportunity to earn this delay of sentence. You'll be walking down a short rope. So make sure you pull the line or that's gonna be pulled from you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Anything else then, Mr. Seibel?
Just a point of clarification, Your Honor, you indicated 90 days of jail, 30 now and 60 held in advance. He has served the 30
I said
days.
30 now, 30 days credit.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you missed that little
Yeah,
part.
I did. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Loomis.